Log number 6.
Hey guys, so I know it's been a long time. I'm so sorry. Please to forgiving me, but things have been kind of busy in the Kim household. But I'm here now, and I'm gonna try and just do a really quick vlog for you right now. And so a question I get from time to time is, should I go to school or not? Is it worth it, or would I get more benefit and progress if I just teach myself? Now that's a question I have to be careful how to answer, because it really depends on who's asking it and why they're asking it. Now, in terms of those people that we see out there who are very successful, who've been self-taught, the chances are there are two things. One, they have natural raw talent, and two, they are very motivated and very disciplined. They're able to motivate themselves and not be distracted and make whatever sacrifices are necessary. And another thing, I would say three things. The third thing is they're fast learners. Okay, so if you have all those three attributes, that's a big sign of whether being self-taught will be successful for you. The other thing is, again, your perspective on why you want to go that route. You have to ask yourself honestly certain questions like, is it because, oh, I don't want to go through the time it takes to go through a program? Or is it because you don't like being told what to do? You want to dictate how you go about doing things? Those are the kind of things that are pervasive, and you have to be careful. Like I think I've mentioned before, with the two schools I teach at, they're both very different. And one of them is definitely very well equipped with the latest technology, a lot of resources, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a student is going to excel in it. At the end of the day, it still comes down to how motivated that student is, their work ethic, how badly they want to get in this industry. And that's the number one thing I've noticed is what will carry someone through. I mean, it is possible to be self-taught, but like I said, those are not as common. I mean, you can ask that same question about other things, music, sports, we hear of success stories, but again, they're not the norm. They're the exception. Okay. Even for myself, I only did 2 years of formal art school, but if I could, I would have done more. Even though I've told people that I did draw a lot growing up, and certainly that was helpful, but the difference is, in those days, I've been drawing a lot, but as a hobby, and doing something as a hobby is not the same as being very focused on knowing this is going to be your job or your vocation or whatever. And that's a very different mindset. And also, you can only learn at a certain speed and only absorb so much in terms of learning on your own, because you have no point of reference. In some cases, you don't know what questions to ask because you don't have the right guidance or knowledge. So I saw a big difference between drawing on my own versus, first of all, that decision to actually go to art school because I wanted to pursue it as a career, and then actually getting there and getting the training, being exposed to techniques, being exposed to other artists, peers, and teachers. You know, your growth and acceleration in your growth is a lot faster than trying to do it on your own. The other difference is, even though I did only 2 years, the times are different as well. I mean, back then it was still mostly traditional. We did learn a little bit of Photoshop at school, but it was very early stages of it. I'm not sure, I can't remember what iteration of Photoshop it was, but it was with a mouse. And it just wasn't there yet, at least from our point of view, also because the whole idea of it was still new to us. And so I had to learn Photoshop and learning how to concept, learning the techniques and all those things on the job. Whereas these days you have access to that online and in schools themselves. I mean, I teach that in school as well. But again, at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to how focused you are and what sacrifices you're willing to make. And again, you have to ask these questions honestly, answer them honestly. Do I have the discipline to do work on my own? And another question is, or do you flourish under a structured environment such as a school, getting guidance from teachers, given assignments to keep you on top of things and holding deadlines? If you flourish that way, and you know that, then that's the way to go. And for most of us, that is the way to go. I mean, that's why so many people go to school. The whole question of, should I go to school or I'm not going to bother, I just want to be self-taught. Just be very careful why you're asking that. and be very realistic about your expectations. Another example is music and instruments. I enjoy playing as a hobby, and I was formally trained in piano for maybe by the time I was like either grade 1 to grade 11, and then I also did the violin, fulfilling the Asian stereotype, of course. And then, but I picked up guitar when I was 15 or 16 on my own. So guitar I was self-taught, but even in that I've noticed after a certain point that I've plateaued. But for me, I realized if I want to get any better, technically, then I need to take lessons. So I never have, but that's okay. I'm willing to accept that because that's not necessarily a goal or objective, right? As opposed to anything art related, that is always my priority. So practicing, learning techniques, trying to fit in the time to do more art between teaching and client work and all that, takes precedence over doing music. Going back to the original question of should I go to school or should I just teach myself, part of that big question is how badly do you want to pursue this career? So maybe the better question to ask yourself is if this is something you really want, then you'll take whatever route that's necessary in order to achieve that. So in other words, if you have the means and the time to go to school and research in a good school, why wouldn't you go, right? So like I said, in hindsight, even for myself, the 2 years of art school that I had was a big benefit, but I can certainly see the gains of being able to have done a little bit more even to do some drop in figure drawing or something. It's something I haven't really ever had time to do ever since art school. So all these little things, it comes down to knowing yourself very well, being very honest with yourself, your personality, your habits, and under what circumstances you learn well and work well, and then assessing your goals, the time it will take to get there, where you're at in life, and because something's going to be sacrificed, right? You can't do everything. If you're going to put more time into drawing, then you're going to have to put less time into games, or less time into going out with your friends even, and that kind of thing. The question of should you go to school or be self-taught, in most cases I would say you should probably go to school, and certainly it doesn't hurt, okay? So I hope that answers that question at least to some degree. Maybe I'll touch on it a bit more another time, but I just wanted to again squeeze in at least this quick vlog because it's been a while, alright? So take care. Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe.